Morning, morning, Brandon. For everybody out there, can I just get a quick audio check? Can everybody hear me okay? Throw a little one up there if you can. Holy cow. We might be good. No technical difficulties coming through today. Morning, morning. Letting some people flow in and we'll get started. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world. We're going to get started. Yep. Just a reminder, this is not financial advice. The information on this channel is provided for education and informational purpose only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. Please feel free to read this. That way you know I'm not a financial advisor. Oh, there we go. This is not financial advice, of course. This is all for educational purposes only. Great, we got rid of that. Right, always starting out with the Nasdaq, of course, but I'm going to actually go to gold first. We're going to look at the trade that I took yesterday. Because again, it's about the templates and about taking trades that are repeatable. In my opinion, this is a very repeatable setup. Now, this one did not go as vertical as I would like, of course, but sometimes they'll be more aggressive. Sometimes it'll be a little bit lackluster, if you will. But regardless, I was looking at gold yesterday, and normally I look for the same setup to the upside. So if they have 3 days of breakouts to the upside, usually I prefer to short things. I don't know why. My brain just sees the shorts a little bit better, and it's a little bit harder to see the long templates, but we had 3 days of breakouts to the downside yesterday on gold. And I had came and I saw 3 sessions outside as well. 3 peaks to the downside and then the peak formation. So having seen this, basically all I wanted to do was wait for a higher high to get put in place. So same as I always do, 5-minute chart, look for a higher high using the rules for structure. And my rules for structure that are fairly objective, I'm actually putting out a new video tomorrow about them, and I already have videos on my channel for it, but this will be a bit of a good refresher. So the higher high was made right here at 9:20, so before the New York Open, and having seen that in the pattern that had been developing going into the New York Open, this was perfect opportunity because I only take 2 entry styles, either a short squeeze, long squeeze approach, which would be like lower lows, lower highs, higher high. They slam it back down into the low for a squeeze. That'd be a short squeeze, higher high, higher low. Or parabolic channel sort of opportunities. Now, in this case, usually you would look for peak formation high, peak formation low, consolidation in the middle, and then a channel to take your trade. So I had a peak formation low in the channel, and then within that channel, I'm looking at the behavior of how the channel is behaving. Weird thing to say, but it's true. So in the channel, I'm looking for stop hunts to the low, and at the stop hunts to the low, I'm looking to see where those people trapped. Or is the market letting those people out each time they slam candles back down? So we have this candle here. They're ascending the pullbacks, which is essentially a trend, but notice how the channel is also very tightly wound up until this point. The next thing that I like to look for is stop hunt outside. This is the first mouse. This is getting people to start going long early So people going long up here, maybe putting their stops back down at the low of the channel or whatever. That's the first bounce, and then they slam it back down one more time. And then I want to see them when they slam it back down like this. Do they let these people out? And then does it reverse immediately off that low? So once it reversed immediately off that low, that's my green light to start entering into this trade. So let's go down to a 1 minute chart. I'm going to show you where I started to get in. I'd say I probably got in a couple bars too late on the 1 minute chart, but that is okay. Oh goodness. So down here in the 1 minute, ideal perfect entry, 10:04. This is 10:05. So this would have been the ideal entry, 10:05, first 5 minute bar. You know, they came out to the downside here. New 5 minute bar pulls back up on the inside. New 5 minute bar engulfs. Like this is the ideal perfect entry would have been right here. I ended up getting in on this bar right here at the close. So this bar went up, it closed, and then I entered, and then it went up a little bit, pulled back, and then continued. So with this kind of trade, my entry and my exit, my target is always going to be using previous day's highs and lows as first target. So since I'm going long, the previous day's low is my first target, which was a decent ways away. Was it 73 pips or so? So not bad. Pretty good trade. Now this one, a lot of times whenever you get this, it'll be previous day's low, and then my next target would be closing price from the previous day, and then the next far target away would be previous day's high in some instances. You could take this exact same template and you could flip it over, and if you've been around for a little bit, you know that my playbook, this is one of the playbook setups, 3 days of breakouts ending in 1, 2, 3 sessions outside looking for this trade, especially after like 2 or 3 or 3 or 4 weeks of breakouts in one direction. This is actually one of my favorites. So catching that on the long side. Oh no, where am I? Get back over here. Still waking up. All right, I just wanted to show you all that trade before I got started. Now we can go through the analysis process. I'm going to start on the Nasdaq. All right, so as always with this analysis process, I don't know what's going to happen until 9:30. I have an idea. I come up with a thesis. I have all the details up on the screen that can go into the building of a trading setup. But up until 9:30, I have no clue what actions on which pair I should be taking. And then I'm allowing the open to dictate whether or not my thesis is correct. So looking for signal days, looking for 3-day setups, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3-day cycle. All the templates are pretty much the same. Just basically, trying to determine which template we're currently in. So that being said, we're going to look and see what kind of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday templates we have building. Remember the tips and tricks slide, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All right, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there are certain templates. In fact, I can pull that up again for you all to take a look at. Oh, no. Here we go. 30 seconds. If I don't have it up, you can yell at me. All right, it's already up, so can't shout. No shouting. Get this thing back up here. There we go. All right, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's all the same stuff. Okay, so if you saw this tips and tricks slide from the last stream and plenty of other streams that I've done, these are the templates. This is like my verbal guide, if you will, of the descriptions of each kind of template that I'm looking for. So 1 through, was it 4 and number 7. So 1 through 4 and number 7, we've already talked about those on Wednesday. Number 5 and number 6. What is number 5 and number 6 saying? So 3 drives outside of the opening range. What is that really saying? All right, when you think about the different types of signal days, 3 days of breakouts is one of them. It's basically just saying 3 days of breakouts, and it's a way of looking at it through the lens of within the current week. We had Monday as the opening range. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday broke out, or maybe Monday was a breakout day as well. And then you get Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Maybe the trade happens on Thursday. Maybe the trade happens on Friday. Or maybe there's no trade at all and it's just a really strongly trending week. But that's what that's saying. So 3 drives outside of the opening range. And then looking for a potential reversal on that Friday, something along these lines here. But essentially, like I said, just 3 days of breakouts. All right. So opening range, breakout day 1, breakout day 2, breakout day 3. Taking note of how day 3 behaved. You get 3 peaks to the high, lower low on the day in the pullback. So one of my biggest things when I trade 3 days of breakouts is having to see structure in my favor, if that makes sense. So this has been making higher highs and higher lows. It's 3 days of breakouts. Yes, I have to see a lower low back down on the inside of that current day's range in order for me to take that trade. So this is the beginning of the setup right here. 3 days breakouts, detail 1, detail 2, lower low starts the setup, begins me actually looking to take the trade. This lower low is the beginning of the pump and the dump. So pump it back up. Lower time frame. This is a 15-minute chart. I'm looking for a lower time frame entry and engulfment back down to the downside. And you could target the low of the current day, which would just be low-hanging fruit, or back down to previous day's low where the pump began, things like that. All right, I've got a few of these examples up here. Notice this one didn't go the distance. It didn't go super duper far. It's not always going to. However, the characteristics are still the same. 3 days of breakouts. And then on this day, you still get your lower low and the pump up, 3 peaks, 1, 2, 3. There's your engulfment back down through the low of the day and also the previous day's low. Didn't go super far, didn't expand the range, but the trade setup still is really good. Same thing here, 3 days breakouts, continuation. So that's the 3 pushes outside of the opening range, or in reality, just looking at 3 days of breakouts, okay? The other one, 2 drives outside of the opening range. Don't even worry about all this. We're looking for trend trades. Number 6 is we're looking for trend trades. That's all this is saying. Don't let all these words confuse you. We're looking for trends. All right, so if you have, for example, any template at all, you have day 1, high and a low. Day 2 is a breakout day. Okay, so day 2 breaks out of day 1's high or low. It doesn't matter which one. And it closes in breakout. This is what I start screaming into the mic, hooting and hollering, shouting, because it's a breakout. The market does 3 things, right? So we're broken out. It's either going to break out, pull back and trend, or break out, fail the next day and reverse. That's it. So if it breaks out and pulls back in a certain way, 3 peaks, 3 levels of drop, they've been trending down throughout the day, and then it starts to do that dump and pump pattern. You know, any one of those. I could be looking for a trend opportunity on Friday. So that would be the template. I've got a few examples of that, or I think maybe one example of that. There's plenty more examples of it. I just happen to only have this one. Something like this. Okay, so a breakout day. Hey, Wednesday. I think this was... No, it wasn't. Well, maybe it was. Either way, we're in breakout to the downside. We're either going to breakout, trend, breakout, reverse, or stay in a trading range. I project that level across. I say that every time. Every time we have a day that closes in breakout, project that level across and see what happens on this day. This could have very well, Asia makes a lower low, pulls back, and then we continue. That could have been one of the templates. This could have stayed down low and consolidated in a rectangle, higher high, pulls back, and then we get a short squeeze off the low of the week, back up. Absolutely. Day 3 could have came in, and you could have seen Asia, London, New York for the long trade back up. All right, so those would be like 3 pushes outside the opening range, reversals, or 3 days of breakout reversals, something along those lines. However, on the day itself, what happens instead? You get Asia, peak 1, London, peak 2, and also peak 3, and a peak formation high that breaks down, makes a lower low, and pulls back. So, okay, we're in a market that's breaking out to the downside. We've made lower lows and lower highs on the day. I could take that trend trade back down towards the low of the day. That's kind of where the template comes from, basically just looking for trend trades. All right. So now let's go back to the analysis for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I know I said lots of words in there in between all of this just to get back to the analysis process, but I want you to understand kind of where I'm coming from as I'm going through this. Is 10 a.m. third hour? Yes. 8 to 9, first hour, 9 to 10, second hour, 10 to 11, third hour New York session. All right. And just to reiterate for anybody in here that might be new, I don't know if anybody in here is new. Hopefully at least one of you. New York session, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. London session, 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. And the Asian session, 8 a.m. or 8 p.m., excuse me, to 11 p.m. Eastern time. All of these are Eastern time. You can just Google New York time. All right. Let's go. Nasdaq. Opening range for the week. This was day one of the 3-day cycle. They reset the cycle again over here, day one. Peak formation high, peak formation low. And then Wednesday was a narrow range day. Did not go anywhere. All right, so day one, day two. Yesterday was day three. So a day that is now broken down and closed in breakout to the downside. Okay, so that's step one. I've identified that yesterday was day three of the cycle. Oh, excuse me, day one. Yep, day two, day three. So yesterday was day three. We're going to reset that back to day one. I'm just going through the process of figuring out what kind of template we're in. All right. So yesterday was day one of the cycle. And then today would be day two of the cycle. So not day three of the cycle. It is day three of the week. Okay, yesterday was a breakout day. How many days of breakouts do we have? That was the first one. Okay, so they triggered previous day's high over here. Then we broke out to the downside here. Is this breakout going to succeed or is this going to fail? Is this going to be a trend or is this going to be a reversal setup? All right, so day one breakout's down. Is that breakout going to succeed or fail? I don't have any signal day. Yesterday wasn't first red. Yesterday wasn't first green. It wasn't 3 days of breakouts. It wasn't an inside day. It was just a down close breakout day. So I have none of that. All I have is it's Friday. Yesterday was a breakout day. And then I have 3 sessions outside of the previous day's range. Asia, London, and then now coming into New York. The way that I'm seeing this is would be like 1, 2, 3 to the low, and then now coming into the New York session. So we've pumped up off the low. Have we made a higher high? That's the next piece of the puzzle that I would be looking for. We had lower low here, lower high here. So this structurally is where I would be looking for my higher high. All right, we had a low, a pullback, a lower low. So no higher high, not even on a 5-minute chart. All right, so this is what I'm going to be looking for. Either a trend, for example, let's say that, yes, we have these 3 pushes down. Maybe I've misread the pushes. Maybe this is only 2 and we need to go for the third. I really don't know. But what I do know is we had a consolidation down low and a pullback, and we've consolidated up here at the high. So if 930 opens and we've been working the high and I can get the breakdown back down through the low as a trend opportunity, I will. But overall, with this style of template, I really want to see higher high, pullback, trend continuation back up to closing price, which would be about right here. Previous day's low would be my first target. Closing price would be my second. And then if it is somehow like magically exploding in large increments, previous day's high would be good as well. Let's see. Everybody good with Nasdaq? Does this make sense? Am I speaking a different language? Nasdaq is gold, except for basically gold yesterday. Same template. I'm looking for the same thing today. All right. Let's go to US 30. 3-day cycle wise. Monday, they broke out of Friday's high. Tuesday reversed. All right, so we got day 1, day 2. I've already identified day 1 and 2. And we're going to go to day 3. Okay, so day 2, Tuesday was a breakout day. Day 3 reversed off the low of the week and reverted back to day 1 anyways. So we had a peak formation made at the low of the week. We got a first green day Okay, first green day, a market that is dumped, closed back at, put in a peak formation at the low of the current week and closed. First green day. So let's put that in there because this is important. Again, I don't know what today's going to do. I can just look at the template that's building and make decisions. First green day. Then on the next day, automatically goes and closes in breakout to the downside instead of going vertical to the upside. Okay. So let's pull up the playbook. And we're going to go take a look at first green day traps. Two different variations. Number one, it could be on the day itself. We get a first green day. On this day over here, I'm watching closing price, and I take a trap trade back down through the low. Basically, we're in a down moving market. This is a first green day turns into a trap. I'm watching closing price. We get 3 peaks. I just took this trade on gold. I think it was this week. It might have been last week. Either way, this exact same trade just showed up on gold. Taking it off closing price, going back for the lows. First green day. Now, this one occurs over the course of 2 days, which is kind of what we're looking at now. We get a first green day. Instead of going vertical, we close not in breakout on this example, but in our example, for this week, they did. And then on this day, looking for the market to continue to make lower lows and lower highs. And once they make a lower low and pump it back up, looking to take the trend continuation to the downside. Okay. Now, there's also first red day traps, which is just exactly the opposite. And I'm zooming, I'm scrolling the wrong way, Cameron. All right, whatever. First red day. All right, so first red day traps. These are exactly the same. You get a first red day in an up moving market, and then they closed in breakout to the upside over here. So this was, I'm still looking to make higher highs and higher lows, low of day opportunities, things like that. Anyways, just for context of why I'm about to explain this the way that I'm explaining it. So first green day possible trap. All right, so trying to identify what kind of template I'm in. Looks good. And then on the day itself, we're making lower lows and lower highs. All right, 1 bar, 2 bar pullback, except it's all inside the same bars range, so that doesn't count as a new swing. We're making lower lows and lower highs. Something like this. All right, now we do have 3 sessions outside of a breakout. So of course, I'm going to pay attention to that. We've pumped it back up off the low, though. We have lower low. We've been pumping it back up off the low. And that's all of the information that I have. As far as the template goes, excuse me, day 1 breakouts down, day 2 breakouts down, day 3 breakouts down, or day 3 of shorts being triggered into the market. That is another final detail that I'm going to put in. Okay, so I'm either going to look for a trend trade based off of first green day trap. First green day, then we get the trap trade, then we are making lower lows and lower highs on the day. We've pumped it up off the low, and I can look for the trend continuation back down through the low. Or based off 3 days of shorts triggered into the market, I would want to see a higher high, a pullback, and then a continuation back up, right? Don't know which one of those two is going to happen or if either of them is going to happen, but I have every detail and what to look for exactly and why. All right, US 30 hopefully makes sense. We're going to move on to the Russell. Y'all are very quiet this morning. Freaking me out. Makes me feel like I'm talking to myself. All right. We got day 1 breakouts, day 2 breakouts, day 3 breakouts. Number 1. That's the first thing that jumps out. Let's get that up there. You can kind of see how if I were to do this the night before, you could do all this stuff the night before, and then you come in and just make decisions, frame the day. Obviously, I'm doing this in the morning with you all, but normally doing this the night before makes it very easy because you have all the details that you need and you just frame the day. Makes it a little simple. So, all right, Russell, 3 days of breakouts. That's detail number 1. Detail number 2, 3-day cycle. Breakout failed. All right, so day 1, day 2. This was day 3. Day 3 closed in breakout. So we're just going to revert back day 1, day 2, and then day 3. So today is day 3 of the 3-day cycle. Although I do not think that it is really going to matter all that much. All right. 3 days of breakouts, 3 days of shorts triggered in within just this one 3-day cycle, which is good. Now, with that 3 days of breakouts, what is the next thing that I should be looking for? If I'm going to look for a 3 days of breakouts template, what is the very next thing that I should be checking? Structure, right? Good stuff. All right, so let's go down. 15-minute chart. Lower low. This bar pulled back. This bar pulled back. So we've got 2 bars breaking out of the previous bar. That confirms this objectively as a swing. Swing low. So now it's broken. These 2 bars are on inside of this one bar. Does not count. This bar pulls back. So now we have a low. All right, down here. Way down yonder. The breaking of this low confirmed this is a swing high, and they've made a higher high. Okay. That's a higher high back up on the inside. I'm going to go down to my 5-minute chart. They have broken, but we're up high. So be careful of a pullback. Be careful. Who knows how deep the pullback is going to be? But that's the idea. Higher high, higher low, breakout pullback, and then continuation back up to, is that breakout going to succeed or fail? This would be first target, or it should be. Okay. If this turns into a trade, obviously I have no idea if this is, they could go up here and start working the high, and timing of the day just doesn't allow it. They've broken out. They made a higher high. This might turn into a first mouse. They stop hunt back down to the low, and the stop hunt would actually become the trade. So if this happens at like 9:30, you'll see. Could you explain how Russell is day 3 of the cycle? Sure. And hopefully I counted correctly because I did it very quickly. I mainly just focused on the fact that it's 3 days of breakouts. But let's go back to Monday. So Monday broke out of Friday's high. This is the high of the current week. They broke out, and then it failed the next day. Day 1, day 2 on Tuesday, day 3 on Wednesday. The cycle is continuous. The cycle has to restart. Day 3 turns back to day 1, day 2, day 3. So within this 3-day cycle, we're trending essentially to the downside. Within this particular 3-day cycle, we've got day 1 breakouts, day 2, day 3, or 3 days of shorts triggered in. But this was day 3 turns back to day 1, day 2, day 3, which is also the reset, right? The peak formation high reset. 1, 2, 3. All right. Everybody go with the Russell. Copium, did that make sense? Exactly. Even so, it is the 3rd day of the cycle as well, but it is the 3rd day of the week. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Whichever way you look at it, it's still day 3. What do I type in the indicator section to get? What do you mean, trader? You just have to go and add it to your favorites, and you can grab it. Do I do ES? I usually just look at the Nasdaq, Paulie. But after I'm going to do oil and gold. If you want me to do ES, I'll go back and look at it. 8:30, there must be news. All right. See you later. Anyways, oil. Good stuff, Tom. Okay. Yeah, so for those of you who remember, actually, you know what? Don't even do that. Let's just do this. Did I delete it all? Hopefully not. There we go. So what was one of the templates? Remember I told you these are the templates. It doesn't matter what day of the week. yes, they're set for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but realistically, we're just identifying the different kinds of templates that you can find. So read number 3. If Monday's breakout fails and then Tuesday's breakout fails at the other end of the week, there's a high potential for parabolic trend trade opportunity. So what that is essentially saying is we had a range, it was broken out of. The next day they broke out down, and then we're coming into the new day looking for a trade. This would be 1, 2, and then 3. Right. So let's go back to our chart. First thing that just jumps out at me the moment I pulled this up. Wednesday, we broke the low of the week, day 1 of the 3-day cycle. Now on day 2 of the cycle, we've gone and we broke the high of Wednesday and also pulled back into that range. So number 1, today is day 3 of the 3-day cycle. Number 2, we have peak formation low at the low of the current week and peak formation high coming out of the high of Wednesday. And then we have dumped back down into wherever we're at right now. All right, so as far as direction, I have no direction. I just have peak formation low, peak formation high, and I'm going to look at on the day itself, what are we doing? All right, are we about to put in peak formation low, high on the day? This is definitely one that I would like to be watching coming into 9:30. This is either going to turn into a massive squeeze. So what would I want to see for that? Number 1, they peak formation low and now high. If they trade back down into the low, creeping trend for the squeeze, 9:30, 10 o'clock, awesome. Number 2, which is kind of already happening right now, is we've made a low, maybe even a lower low, and then it pumps back up and goes into consolidation and starts to break down and pulls back, and then that would be the trade. Be like a long squeeze. Regardless, this template doesn't look bad on the day. Maybe a little bit cloudy, but I'm definitely going to want to be watching this. It's a little tough to read. Yeah, I would agree. So I don't want to make too many assumptions or whatever. All I know is, in the most important details, is peak formation low, peak formation high. We've dumped it down. They went into consolidation and broke out. And then now this put us at the right edge of the chart, and I just need to wait for more information. Okay. Let's see. 3-day cycle, good. This is essentially just a 3-day rectangle, by the way. This is kind of how you can look at it. All right, this is our box in the middle. All right, let's go to gold. Let's go take a little glance at gold. Okay, this is going to be another 3-day breakout template. Tuesday, breakouts. Wednesday, breakouts. Thursday, breakouts. 3 pushes outside of the opening range as well. They've pumped it back up off the low. Gone into consolidation. So let's take a look and see. Again, is this breakout going to succeed? Is it going to fail? Or are we going to get 3 peaks to go back down to the low? And that's really all I think I can do for this one. Breakouts day 1, breakouts day 2, breakouts day 3, peak 1. Maybe peak 2, maybe peak 3. And they like spiked the high, they spiked the low, they pumped it back up in 3 peaks. Are they going to break down? I need more information on this, but this is not a bad option. All right, somebody wanted to see, what was it, ES? Oh, that didn't work out. Do I even have? Let's go take a look at that. Can I do silver? Yep. Hey, same template. Same one is pretty much the same exact template as Nasdaq. All right. So Nasdaq, remember we've got the breakout succeeding or failing. We've got 3 sessions of breakout to the downside. It looks like we're working back down into the low right now. Could it just continue to go lower? Yes, absolutely. I would be looking for a higher high to be formed, or just for them to pump it up off the low for the trend trade, which kind of looks like that's already happening right now. So I don't know. We'll see. ES is going to be exactly the same, Paulie. Same template. Can you check GU? Corey. Yeah, absolutely. Corey, good to see you. The moment I read, can you check GU? I had a feeling that was you, which is funny. All right, so again, 3 days of breakouts. We're still in breakout. Is the breakout going to succeed or is it going to fail? We've got peak 1, a couple more peaks. Let's see. They made a lower low, and they made a higher high. So it's already peak formation low, peak formation high at this point, because they've made a lower low. And then it came back and made a higher high. It was a breakout. So we've dumped, made a higher high, and gone into consolidation. Let's see. This kind of seems like a template where I would wait for a first green day. So like if this day were to turn into a first green day or maybe a breakout day, and then or Monday might be a better trade. But yeah, it looks like it's building, but it's not quite there. I don't have enough information to give me a good direction, Corey. Hey, K-Trade, I appreciate that. 80 people in here with only 4 likes in the stream. Either I'm doing a terrible job or I don't know. But I do appreciate the support. It means a lot. Can you do silver? Yes, let's do silver. All right. Number 1, this trade from the other day. It was from this week because I took gold. It was this one here. From the last live stream on Wednesday, we were talking about, this is either going to turn into like a giant ascending triangle ordeal where it just goes vertical, or we were going to look for the 3 peaks and go back down. So it ended up turning into that 3 peaks variant and then breaking down. Really good short, over and done with really quickly. Silver did pretty much the exact same thing. So coming off of that, Monday, Tuesday, we had Monday as, okay, we'll use this. There we go. Day 1 of the cycle was on Tuesday, failed breakout, low of week. Wednesday, day 2 of the cycle. And then Thursday, yesterday, was day 3. We broke out at the low of the week, failed. We came back up on the inside. So that resets the cycle anyways. That gives us a new peak formation made at the low of the week. Good stuff. Day 1, day 2, day 3. That was also a new first green day. Large dumping day. Pretty insane trend line, but whatever. Day that's broke out and put in lows in the morning and highs in the afternoon, closing above the opening price for that day. Day 1, first green day. Day 2 of the cycle is today. Not going to worry too much about that. I'm just going to worry about today's Friday. Are we making higher highs and higher lows? Looks like we dumped it back down. London, dump and pump. And then that leads us into today. We've made a higher high. Just because we've made a higher high, I don't know. I kind of, again, just to reemphasize this, on templates like this, first green day, I like to get in while they're still dumping. The short squeeze setup is lower lows, lower highs, higher high, first pullback, get in, or on the third push, getting in, or something like that. After they've already gone vertical like this, I try to stay away because now it could be, they've gone vertical and made a higher high, but, they're going to pull back and you don't know how deep the pullback's going to be. It starts to add a lot of discontent or too many possibilities. I like to get in down low or on the first pullback after it's gone vertical. That's just my opinion, but it could still be a decent template. First green day, day 2. If today turns into a breakout day, maybe Monday will be better. Day 1, day 2, day 3. But we'll see. Bitcoin, ETH. For those of you that trade Bitcoin, let's take a little look. I don't know if I do have ETH on there. Let's see. Indicators struggling. Oh, it's still all the same though. Good stuff. All right, so Monday. It's Sunday, Monday. Trying to make sure all this is accurate. Seems like it's all one day behind. No worries. There we go. Fixed it. All right, so we had a day 1 of the 3-day cycle on Wednesday. Day 1, not a first red day. Day 2, inside day. Was it narrow range? Not really. So day 1, day 2, inside. Day 3, today, still on the inside of previous day's high and low. So after an inside day, really like to see one of these levels having been triggered before I make any decisions at all. 3-day template, day 1. Range, day 2, inside. Day 3, still exactly the same as what I just said. Nothing changes. So I think this is probably a no-go for me. US dollar, is that Mexican peso? Not going to let me scroll. All right. Still not going to let me scroll. All right. No worries. They're really trying to screw with my ability to keep my stuff organized. There we go. All right. Dollar peso. Monday, oh, we're still on crypto. Let's fix that. Okay. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday template. We had a breakout on Tuesday. Breakout potentially failing on Wednesday. Day 1, day 2. Day 3 trades back up into the high, peak formation high, 3 peaks, further reversal back down. So day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 3 also turns into an outside day, resetting the cycle. So this is day 1, day 2. Today's day 2. Yesterday was day 3, and day 3 was seems like it was a decent trade off the high of the week. So this was an outside day, which is good. That's part of the playbook. Not quite a breakout day, but that's fine. On this day over here, just looking for, well, let's go look at the playbook. What happens after outside days? What am I looking for? Outside day, consolidation down low, squeeze patterns. Okay, outside day, consolidations down low, squeeze patterns. Same thing. Different variant. Same idea. Okay. Does that line up somewhat well with what we've got going on here? Maybe. Basically worked back down into the previous day's low, and that's kind of just where we're at. I don't have anything else. Looks real choppy. I don't know what else to say about it. Let's see. All right, any other pairs? Paul, I appreciate that, by the way. Natural gas. Let's take a look. Really hoping I left it on here. I did. Nice. What time do you identify yesterday's close? Hey, dotted line, candle to the left, end of day, candle to the right, beginning of new day. Close, open. That's all I do. End of day, new day. Let's see. All right, natural gas. Let me zoom out a little bit. And Friday. Okay, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday, outside day, day one cycle. Thursday, day two of cycle. Breakout day to the downside. Day one breakouts down. How long have we been going up? Interesting. Okay. Hey, this isn't a bad template. Outside day. Day one breakouts down. 3 sessions of breakouts. Just about. Still making lower lows and lower highs. This is nice. It looks like it's trading very clean as well, which is nice to see. So same exact thing, breakouts day one to the downside. Is that breakout going to succeed or fail? Well, so far it's succeeding. We're making lower lows and lower highs. So maybe this is evolving. What kind of template do I have on the day itself on day 3? Let's see. Lower lows and lower highs. There was a low put in place here. They went lower. Oh, this is so dirty. Look how the market does this stuff. This pen. Okay, so is that really a solid break? It kind of just looks like maybe the candles were floating down there. I don't even know if it really broke. But we'll call it lower low. So lower high. Low was put in place. Low was broke. High in place. Low and then lower high. All right, so this is kind of a 5-minute high. We get a higher high, breaking structure. Peak formation was made at the low of the day. We get a higher high, and we'll see from there. But not bad. Are those templates you showed before available as PDF or no? I usually have them they're in my boot camp, and they're also they're floating everywhere, all over my YouTube videos. I pull them up pretty much every live stream. Creeping. Yep. Can you do EU, GU? Hey, I already did GU, but I'll do EU again. Euro USD. And then I gotta go because I gotta go get my chart set up and trade. Appreciate that, Paulie. All right, Euro USD looks very different from GU. Let's zoom out a little bit. Wednesday, Thursday. So we got 2 days breakouts, at least 3 days going down. Okay, so 3 days of breakouts down. And again, this is the same thing. Sorry, I'm just reading y'all's comments and stuff. Lower lows and lower highs. And then we broke out. And that's kind of where we're at now. We've been pumping back up instead of dumping down. Soybeans. I know I used to have soy on here. The beans. Let's find the beans. All right. Right. Okay, the same exact template is just showing up over and over now. 3 days breakouts, kind of a reset. Day 1, day 2, breakout day. Will the breakout succeed or fail? This looks really nice. It looks very clean. Um, is this going to turn into a trend trade or is it a reversal? They're back up at the high right now. What happens at 9:30? Is this going to turn into order flow for the move back down? Or are we just going to keep making higher highs and higher lows? Go down to a 5-minute chart. Might be a little difficult because, so for example, my ideal, perfect, phenomenal, if you will, setup is this exact pattern. They make a high. It pulls back. Notice how the pullback is very shallow. So they put in a higher low, very compressed with the new high that was formed. And then they break that high. So now I can use my rules for structure to say, okay, well, they just broke this high. My new low is right here. It's very close. If it breaks down and makes a lower low and pulls back, I'm getting in. This is my get in area. Lower low, lower high, pullback. Now I'm in a long squeeze scenario. This will usually show up as like descending triangle, maybe a new double top, something along those lines. Maybe just 1, 2, 3, and then engulfment, whatever it may be. But this template doesn't look bad either. Anton, do I ever do live trading? Yes. I haven't done it in a little while, though. I haven't even been doing YouTube live streams in a while. But I've been doing webinars this past couple weeks, so I've been trading with them, which is where I'm going next after this. Any other questions, comments, concerns? All right, ladies and gentlemen, you all have been fantastic. I always appreciate you all tuning in and, adding some input in there. And so I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. It's been good. These live streams have been great. I'm really enjoying doing them. I'll be back to doing them every single week that I don't have a webinar or whatever. And I don't have one next week. So Wednesdays and Friday of next week, we'll be doing these live streams at 8 a.m. to prep for the session. Y'all been great. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.